Art journal pages, crochet work in art journaling. There are several different ways to art journal, and there are several different ways to do crochet work. What is really fun for those of us who enjoy both art forms is to mix up the two techniques. There are also several different ways to mix them up too. In this video, I show you how I do a technique I call faux crochet in my art journal. No fiber or hooks are needed, just a little imagination and patience. I have a short video. It's really a show and tell video. This is specifically for Crochet Geek on YouTube. She's running a project where she is asking YouTubers who do art journaling and who also do crochet work to submit video or pictures of their work, and she'll work it up into a video. I'm going to do a short flip through of some of the things I've done. I do crochet. I crochet a lot. I have a lot of things in my stash, my needlework stash, my crochet and yarn stash. But I, at one point, got tired of working with the yarn and thread and wanted to work it into my journals. And that's what this is all about. I have a mixed media Strathmore journal, and I have gessoed the pages with Liquitex black gesso. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do some crochet on my pages, and let me show you some of the things that I've done. I want to flip to the first page. I tried a filet crochet sampler, and I worked the stitches from, I put on my chain row, I worked my double crochet. This is what they call filet, F-I-L-E-T, filet crochet. And you can work up samplers, and I've seen roses and flowers and lions and animals and all sorts of things done in filet crochet. You just work up the design as you're crocheting. And I'm going to do a sample of that on this tag later in the video, but I want to do a quick flip through of some of the things that I've done. This one is, here's a coffee cup, and it says coffee. That's all it says, C-O-F-F-E-E, and then I did the alphabet below here. This is a sampler. And then I just bordered it with double crochets. So that was fun. And then on my next page, I thought, well, I'm going to do a sampler and see how many stitches that I can draw. And here I did sort of like a basket crochet down here, and then I worked with some other. You can kind of take some leeway on your pages that you cannot really take when you're doing it with a needle and thread, but it still has the essence of crochet. I filled in some stitches down here. I did some little loops and fillet down here. This is double crochet followed by a fillet stitch, which kind of left a sort of like an open weave there. Here I started seeing if I could work in some semblance of circles in there. And here I did some little picot stitches on the sides. So my next one is another sampler. Here I just did a basic stitch down there, and then I did some loops and some chains. Did different things while I was drawing them. And it helps if you crochet because you know the different stitches when you crochet. And here I did some circles, and I think this I probably did more on drawing. I'm not really sure I could duplicate that circle in this fashion if I was doing it with a thread and hook and thread. And then I ended up with kind of a ruffle stitch up here. So I'm going to flip through these 3 pages again for the benefit of Crochet Geek. And I'm going to leave it here for a few minutes and just pull my hand out of the way, so if she wants to get a nice screenshot, she can. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing here. trying to leave it up there long enough for her to get a shot of it. Maybe I should pull it back just a little. I'm just doing this off of my work desk. And then the other one is right here. So those are 3 that I've worked up in this journal, and I started gessoing some other pages here that I'm going to work more on. I just haven't done it yet. I kind of got sidetracked, as I always do. However, I do have an older art journal where I originally started doing this, and let me show you some of the things. What got me started with it was one that I did, I believe I did this in 2011, 2010, 2011, and it says, "Go confident in the direction of your dreams." This is a Henry David Thoreau quote, and I had drawn little basket weave. And this was one of my first ones, but I was trying to emulate like a double crochet, and then I came back in and did the lettering, and then I pulled all my background into the background with sort of like a gray wash in the background. So this is kind of a combination of doing the simulation of a crochet stitch and an art journal page. And I flipped it on the next page, and I really worked with it here. Live the life you imagined, and then I drew a scissors down here in the corner. And I'm not sure you can see the entire 2 pages on here, but I had worked this on a piece of waxed paper that I collaged down to the base of my page, and of course on that waxed paper it was a paint that I was doing my scratch paint on when I was working on my project, similar to what you see here. And so I just collaged that whole thing down on my page, and then I, believe it or not, worked my crochet with black gesso and the ink pen and everything on here. But this says, "Live the life you imagined," and then I drew with some purple on here. I did different things. I was just experimenting with it. Also in here, I have another one over here that I did more of a wedding theme. And I'm using a white correction pen. Let me get it out here. I'm using a white correction pen to do all of this. And I drew my circle first. I thought, well, if I can do filet crochets, I can surely simulate a doily. And here again, this was done a couple years ago. I would not say that's refined, but it's an art journal page. And then I started doing the double stitches, and I decorated a piece of music. And that really kind of goes with a wedding theme. This was a wedding favor. It says bride and groom on it. And then I took a vintage photo and fussy cut out the groom and the bride, and did an art journal page. Did a 2-page layout. I have another one that I did, my famous scissors. And here again, this is a couple years ago, but this again was done with the crochet filet stitch. So let me pull away from it for a minute if I can't get it all in frame here. I don't know if I can. And then that one. And then, oops, this one. So that's my short show and tell of my art journaling crochet stitches. I should be doing more of that. Maybe I will. What I wanted to do was kind of demonstrate to you how I did that maybe on this tag. And let me get a piece of paper and put down on my desk here so you can see it better. I do not have zoom on my camera, and this is probably about as close as I can get for you. Someday maybe I'll be blessed with a new camera. I'm using office supply correction pen, and yes, I also have trouble with these pens drying out. I got this one to work this morning by holding my heat gun up to the tip like this, and I just held it there for several minutes, and then I would shake it and then I finally got it to write, but I do have a couple that I need to work with a little bit more. You can see where I'm drawing the baseline of stitches there, and I'm still using my Office Max whiteout pen, and I heat it with the heat gun, and I'm still having a little trouble with it, of course, while I'm doing the video, so I just get out my white broad signal pen, and then I thought, well, I'll just use a black Sharpie, and I flipped the tag over, and it still has the manila background on it, so you can see where I'm just doing a basic filet stitch there, kind of like a basket, and then I do some other little stitches, and I'm doing some loops and putting some picots on them, and because I'm drawing them, I don't have to do the base chain first. I can do it any way that I want, and then I think, well, I'll do some knit stitches, so I put those on the side just for the fun of it, and then do some single crochets, and then I do some more filet stitches on there, and there's my tag. There you go. How's that for fun? And here I started the white on the black down here. So, this is just a fun way to journal with your needlework. If you want, you could document a project, you could draw in your sampler, or you could even frame something. You could put in a photograph and do a lacy crochet around there. Or it doesn't even have to be lacy. You could do a net type thing, or just fill it in. You could do shells, you could do twists, you could do a lot of different things. So, hope that you've enjoyed this little demonstration, and I hope that it's inspired someone out there to pick up a white pen or a Sharpie pen, or even a gold or copper pen for that matter, and try some crochet without the thread and the hook. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next page.